And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. We're literally 249 subscribers away from 400,000. So let's at least get there. So hit subscribe, watch, comment, and please share with family and friends because the insanity, I'll tell you it every single day, it's not stopping. Just this morning, Trump joined CNBC Squawk Box. Unsurprisingly, some ludicrous things were said. I mean, when I say ludicrous, just wait. Trump spoke about the tariff deals, specifically pharmaceuticals. He explained that he would be putting a small tariff on drugs initially, but that he would be raising the price. What? Drug prices are already too high. Listen, how many times have you heard me say, I suffer from migraines. One of the medications that I take, if you are not covered by insurance, it's $100 a pill. Imagine $100 a pill if you're not covered by insurance. Putting tariffs on drugs just going to mean that even more Americans will no longer be able to afford their already over expensive medications. Play the clip.
Chips and semiconductors. But on pharmaceuticals, we'll be putting a initially small tariff on pharmaceuticals, but in 1 year, President 1.5 years maximum, it's going to go to 150%, and then it's going to go to 250% because we want pharmaceuticals made in our country. And that's not the CHIPS Act like Biden did because he didn't know what he was doing, where they gave billions of dollars to companies that had more money than they knew what to do with.
President Trump, can I ask you about...
Okay, let me also be very clear. If hypothetically the drug is $100, like my migraine medication, Ubrelvy, just imagine if you are given 100% discount or that there's an expense onto it of 100%, well, the answer then would be the medication is for free. If they're giving you 150%, well, that means you go in to fill your prescription and the pharmacy actually has to give you cash. None of this makes any sense. He then said that the EU, like I said, this stuff is just out of this world ludicrous. He said that the EU is going to give him $600 billion to invest in whatever it is that he wants to. Now, before I show you the clip, remember this. Remember this headline from Politico EU from last week. Let me show you what it said. In it, it turns around and says, EU admits it cannot guarantee $600 billion promise to Trump. The extra investments pledged under the trade deal would come from private companies, which Brussels conceded it has no power to control. So let me basically put it to you this way. It's bullshit. It's making a promise that you can't keep. It's like the old adage, you're writing checks, your bank account can't cash. Meanwhile, let me show you the clip.
What kind of teeth are in those investments, meaning that would force the EU to make those investments? If they don't make those investments, what happens on the other side?
Well, then they pay tariffs of 35%. No, they brought down their tariffs. So they paid $600 billion, and because of that, I reduced their tariffs from 30% down to 15%. And a couple of countries came, how come EU is paying less than us? And I said, well, because they gave me $600 billion. And that's a gift. That's not like, a loan, by the way. That's not a loan that, 3 years comes up, we have to pay it back. There's nothing to pay back. They gave us $600 billion that we can invest in anything we want.
The deal that
and nobody knows it, Becky. Nobody knows it because they don't know.
No, we have been trying to figure out the details on that, Mr. President. So
there are no details.
Clarity on that.
The details are $600 billion to invest in anything I want. Anything. Okay. I can do anything I want with it.
Sure, like maybe stick it in your own bank account because the EU has already said that they don't have the money within which to do. It was going to come from private companies. So private companies are just going to shell out $600 billion and, let's say, not own the asset? Meanwhile, Trump then goes on and claims that NATO leaders do whatever it is that he wants them to do. This is NATO. Play the clip.
Can I finish one thing?
Yes.
1 year ago, 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world by far. And that was told to me by every leader of NATO, which they do whatever I want. That was told to me by the King of Saudi Arabia, by the leaders of UAE, by the leader of Qatar, by many, many. We were a dead country 1 year ago. Today, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world, and I'm very happy to help.
Mr. President, once again, thank you. Thanks for your time.
I honestly don't even know what he's saying or why. How about just say, I'm making it better, right? We were not a dead country. You know it. I know it. And here's the saddest part. He knows it too. Conversation then, of course, turned to the job numbers and Trump's firing of the BLS commissioner. Even CNBC's host, Cohen, he even often supports Trump on just about anything that Trump says. Critique Trump's decision on this. Play the clip.
Elaine Chao was on yesterday, and I know, she was, I think she was labor secretary for 8 years under Bush too, and she was your transportation secretary as well. And she said, the commissioner doesn't really even get involved with the actual minutia of putting all these things together. And there's no way that it could have been, that she could have chosen to rig these numbers to make them look bad. And these are statistical changes based on this antiquated system, and it's just a big leap to go to rigged. And then it also, Mr. President, it makes anyone you pick is going to be, critics are going to say, hey, he's picking a guy that's going to give him or a gal that's giving him the numbers that he wants. So it undermines confidence in the system to some extent. You had, according to many people, all the rights in the world to try to replace a commissioner when it's hasn't gotten any better. But that is maybe a bridge too far, according to most people.
Well, I think when somebody says the commissioner is not involved, I don't want to get into any arguments with anybody. Why should I? She's a very nice woman.
Exactly.
But when they say that that nobody was involved, that it wasn't political, give me a break. Look,
the numbers. And he's right to be pissed. I'm just not sure that it's her fault. I'm not so sure that the system is rigged always against him. It went from, for example, in May, job reports showing 175,000 new jobs created. That was inaccurate. It was 14,000. That's not a small rounding error. That's not a decimal number. That's a serious mistake. The month after, they said there was 170,000 jobs created. No, 17,000. Again, that's no rounding error. Now, I want to show you a clip from CNN where they played part of Trump's interview, and then John Berman actually fact-checked something that few people are doing these days. I do it. Fact-check Trump's claims about the job number revisions. Play the clip.
Before the election, they put out numbers that it was like the country was on fire. It was doing so well. And then they did a revision about 2 weeks later, and the revision was down by almost 900,000 jobs. You remember that? And I said, I said, what would have happened? What would have happened if I lost? Think of it. I would have said, they gave phony numbers, and then they revised them a week and a half later.
All right, so that was wrong, and wrong. All right, November 1st, just before the election, there was a terrible jobs report. Just 12,000 jobs added. That was November 1st, just days before the election. 12,000 jobs added November 1st, almost as bad as the 2 months we just had during the Trump administration, May and June. After the election, the numbers were revised upward. So that's the second wrong. President Trump was wrong that there was a good jobs report before the election, wrong that it was revised upward. Downward, it was revised upward after the election. He's also wrong about the timing of the huge revision. It came last August, where they said that 800,000 fewer jobs had been added in the last year. It wasn't after the election. All of the revisions that were made in theory before the election last year may very well have been in Trump's favor. So wrong, and wrong there.
Wrong. Meanwhile, on air, Trump then goes on and he's literally rambling about how his poll numbers are the highest that they have ever been. Again, Kernan pushes back. Play the clip.
Anything else? I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, a record that they say won't be beaten unless I run again.
Are you going to run again? The
No,
Constitution.
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay Powell. We'll go all talk about all the stuff that.
Hey, Becky, I'd like to run. I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that foreign countries aren't ripping us off anymore. For years, they ripped us off, friend and foe. And the friend was worse.
Overall poll numbers, you don't have the best you ever had. In overall poll numbers, you do. I cited one of those.
I have the best poll numbers I've ever had.
Among Republicans.
I have poll numbers where I'm 71%. I have the best poll numbers.
Those are among Republicans.
No. Among Republicans, I'm at 94 and 95%. No, I'm talking about generally. I have the.
Yeah. Selective decisions. Meanwhile, Trump was then asked about Pam Bondi announcing a grand jury probe about former President Obama and the Russia hoax. He claimed, of course, he had absolutely nothing to do with it. This is all Pam Bondi based upon information. Play the clip.
Yeah, Mr. President, you've talked about you want success, not retribution. The Justice Department now tapping a grand jury to look into the intelligence community's assessment of what was happening with Russia. Is that you have nothing to do with directing the Justice Department?
No, I have nothing to do. Pam is doing a great job. I have nothing to do with it. I will tell you this. They deserve it. I was happy to hear it. I actually read it just like you did. I have nothing to do with it. But what they did in the election, what they did in even the last election, but it was too big to rig. But what they did in the 2020 election is grotesque. I mean, that was a rigged election, 100%.
Okay, we can't relitigate that. We can't relitigate that.
No, we're back to rigging again. Well, you can use it because everyone knows.
Yeah, we are.
You know what? A year ago, you would have been upset if I said it. Today, it's different. I say it all the time. It was a rigged election. It was 100% rigged.
Yeah. You can't respond to anything like this. Now, let me be very clear. Nothing is making me happier. And I'm going to come to you continuously regarding this probe by Pam Bondi because it affected me. It affected my life. I want to just remind each of you that this entire Russia bullshit started with the fake Steele dossier, a unverified, undocumented piece of crap report put out by Christopher Steele that claimed 11 allegations just against me alone, more than anybody else. Went to Prague, 10 million in cash, Russian compromise. I've never been to the Czech Republic. Never had 10 million in cash. I mean, I never met a Russian compromise, never paid them off so as to protect Paul Manafort. I wouldn't give 5 cents to protect Paul Manafort. The whole thing is fucked up. And I, for one, I'm actually excited that this is going to come out because I'd like to know how it all happened. Now, finally, Trump found a new way to be just completely inappropriate, saying that migrant farm workers never get physical ailments. Their backs don't hurt, they don't get sick, no flu, because if they do, it means death. Play the clip.
Back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
No, okay, so.
Unbelievable. Like I said, we need to get to 400,000, then 500,000, then to 1 million. if we don't build this community, if we don't build it big enough and so big that the 2026 midterm elections go the way we need them to, this is what we're going to get. This is what we're going to be living with day in and day out. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.